Welcome back to another episode of Backyard Builds. As you guys probably seen in the Summer Nats episode, we got the wagon done. Before I start this episode, there's a few people I'd like to thank. Firstly, my mum and dad. They helped heaps to get the wagon done, and the new project which will be on next week's episode. Summer Nats was bloody tough to get to. 8 weeks out, this didn't have a motor, and we started to build next week's project. Dad was there every day, every night. We did some big hours. I was away for work a lot, but we managed to get it done. So there's also guys like Mark, Tom, my brother Toby, Dan, Nick, Saxon, all those boys. I absolutely couldn't have done it without yous, so thanks heaps. Then there's all the people that encourage me, so thank you so much. But here it is. So what's happened with the wagon? Motor come out, it went back down to the builder. We rebuilt the motor essentially, so top end rebuild, so lifters, push rods, all of this was done. I also, while the motor was apart, sent the heads away and got them CNC ported. So they were done by Bullet Engineering in Adelaide. They now flow 305 CFM at 700th hour lift. We've also gone up in cam spec. Rough specs are 242, 248. It's a solid roller now. It's got BAM lifters in it from the States. Really cool design, really cool way of machining. Once they go into his mill, they don't come out until they're finished. So, really high precision. They're bronze bushed with an oiler in them as well. So it actually feeds oil down to the roller. And being bronze bushed, if one starts to wear out or cops an absolute flogging, then the bushes are replaced and there's no needle rollers to go through the motor. The heads have made a huge difference, along with that cam. Converter. When we pulled the motor apart, we actually found that the converter was cracked on the ring gear and the converter had ballooned. So it actually had impressions, I'll put a photo in here, impressions of the back of the crank in the back of the converter. So yeah, it was no good. The car was really unhappy. So it's now got a brand new converter in it from SDE in Melbourne. Converter itself is now 4,500. So Peter at SDE asked for a shitload of information on the car. So tyre size, transmission, cam specs, approximate horsepower, heads, head flow, everything like this. And then asked what our purpose with it was. I wanted something that was nice on the street, had good street characteristics, that I'm able to race. So since Summer Nats, I've probably put a heap of Ks on it, to be honest. Out to Summer Nats and back to my house is probably 50 odd Ks. Plus driving around inside Summer Nats. This weekend's actually the crack run here in Canberra, so we've had the car out at the crack run. We had an absolute fat time yesterday afternoon. We ended up with about 11 people in it. So it was a good time. Thanks to everyone who was there. I had a blast. Interior's also been finished. Bryant Ennis here in town has done an absolutely awesome job on this interior. I can't thank him enough for what he's done. The car builder's product in there is unreal. So obviously you've seen Tom and Saxon put the sound deadener in. We've put an acoustic liner and an insulator on the floor. So it's like a thick foam, like a memory foam, like a dense foam. It's knocked so much noise out of the car, it's not funny. Still haven't been able to manage to get tailpipes on the car. This isn't a huge problem, but in saying that, it's dumped at the diff, so we put some turn downs on it. The turn downs have knocked a heap of noise out of it. It's actually quite nice to drive. Converter on the highway is okay. It's not droney. It can be a little bit drony, but we're about to go and see. We're taking it up to the top of Newcastle in a couple of weeks, so we'll see how that goes. Radiator is unreal. Can't thank PWR enough. All of Summernat's cruising around. It's only got water in it still at the moment because we're still in a little bit of a trial period. I can't get it over 190 Fahrenheit. It just wouldn't get there. At Summernat's, obviously it took an hour to do a lap, and we were doing a couple of little skids and stuff, and it just wouldn't come up over 190. The ambient temperature there on the weekend was unreal. This weekend's not much better. Got a little bit hot yesterday, but we were only doing 80k an hour in top gear. It likes to rev on the converter. The converter was just slipping. It come up around 210. So it's not boiling itself, but it got warm. What else is there? Went to the dyno. Heat at perfection. And kit. Thanks heaps. They sorted the car out. There was a few minor issues, like we weren't getting 100% throttle. So Pete and Kit rang me with the first number, and it was nowhere near what I expected. The car made 200 horsepower on just the primaries, which isn't anything to sneeze at, but I thought it would have been better. Once Pete worked out what was going on, and we weren't getting full throttle, the car now has full throttle. They gave it a run. Best we got out of it before Summernats, after I fixed a few things, like there was a fueling issue. The fuel pump we put in it was way too, the fuel filter was way too small. And there's a few kinks in a line that we renegotiated where the fuel reg is, made the lines a lot better, and managed to get 397 horsepower at the tyre. It's a pretty good number for a small block. I'm stoked with that number, but the more impressive number is 811 foot-pound of torque. Like, this thing is a torque monster. The guy I bought all the engine parts off was building a hill climb race car, and that's exactly what he was chasing, was torque. So the torque that this car puts out is absolutely phenomenal. Like, you can roll on it in second gear and it gets a bit swirly. You can bang it back to third and it stays swirly. It's quite fun to drive, and it's a car that I definitely wanted to build. So, is this it for the wagon? Probably not. Is this it for the time being? 100%. There's a few little bits and pieces I need to fix, like one of the window regs has dropped. The door's a little bit hard to open on one side. It still seems to torque itself up, even with those chassis connectors in it, but with 811 foot-pound and 235/60s under the back of it, I'm not sure what to expect. So, sort a few little bits and pieces out, but for the time being it's done. I have brought some new stuff for the wagon, but it will be once I get back from Germany. So, for the time being, my friends and family will enjoy it. I've still got a couple of months to enjoy it, so I'll continue and enjoy it while I'm here, and then from there they can enjoy it while I'm gone. Yeah, it puts a smile on everyone's face that I take for a lap in, and I can't thank those people enough. They know who they are, and without them it probably wouldn't be where it is and do the things that it would and do the things that it does. So as cool as the column shift was, we just couldn't keep it. Had to go to a B&M Pro Stick, which is awesome to drive with. A few little bits and pieces like the tack's not working yet. Still need a speedo. And apart from that, it's happy days. Colour match seat belts. But this thing's an absolute monster. Like, this is second gear now. And it pulls like a friggin' freight train. I can't tell anyone how happy I am with this motor. As you can see, it's not super noisy. Like, just cruising along, it's pretty good. So, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. And we've got a new project for you. So, it's complete. We'll go through and show you everything that we did to that to get it on the road for summer nats. Catch you next week.